right? So, a lot of things have come out now about the Mystics and that really, really absurd, berserk show we saw on a basketball court yesterday where multiple players went after Sophie Cunningham. I think we know why. All right. I think we know why. So
the Indiana Fever supporters have mobilized fiercely, turning the courtroom into a battleground as Brittney Sykes faces widespread outrage. After Sophie Cunningham took a fall that seemed propelled by gravity itself, fans erupted, shouting "Suspender," louder than a coach arguing a call. Was it a dirty play? Or just another intense drama in the WNBA Thunderdome? Elbows and Emotions Edition. Emotions are running high and the situation has become more heated than ever. One thing's certain. This incident is more explosive than a halftime orange slice, and the saga is definitely juicier than anything fans have seen all season.
Yes, Sophie Cunningham got injured, okay? She got injured. She landed on her ankle the wrong way. Let's go ahead and look through the play right now, all right? So here she is here, coming for the rebound, boom, and lands on Ryan Howard's foot the wrong way, and she was holding it, man. Now,
when Sophie Cunningham hits the floor, Indiana Fever fans quickly shift into the Supreme Court of basketball ethics. One moment, they're calmly applauding a layup. The next, they're brandishing pitchforks and drafting suspension petitions on Microsoft Word like it's a school project. Brittney Sykes? Under Indiana Twitter law, she's now a wanted felon, with a record that includes playing too aggressively and hurting our feelings. The outrage is fierce, and the fans are treating this like a serious courtroom drama, turning a basketball play into a full-blown legal case. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe our channel for more.
It turns out that we have seen, like, Stephanie White has been talking about it. Stephanie White has talked about Sophie Cunningham, and we also have news from Chloe Peterson about how she looked at practice today, and obviously, like, it's Tuesday.
This wasn't just any player who got injured. No, this was Sophie Cunningham, the WNBA's unofficial queen of chaos, mayhem, and fierce personality. You don't simply guard Sophie, you try to survive her. She doesn't dribble, she charges, head first. She doesn't just talk trash, she unleashes psychological warfare on the court. Sophie is the type of player who could throw an elbow, sink a three, wink at your grandma in the stands, and then call you soft with a smirk. Her presence on the court is electric and intimidating, making every moment she's in the game feel like a battle.
that moment, everybody was scared in the live stream, man. I was holding my breath, my face was fixed a certain way that looked crazy. I mean, we were scared in there, okay?
Sophie Cunningham is, despite all her trash talk, one of the most polarizing and celebrated players in the league, a mix of villain and icon. She's the women's basketball equivalent of Dennis Rodman, minus the Vegas trips with Carmen Electra. She draws fans to the arena and fiercely competes against her opponents. Let's be honest, Sophie has done more to energize women's basketball than many marketing teams with multi-million-dollar budgets. But then, everything changed with that injury. Her fiery presence, her fearless style, everything that made her beloved and hated was suddenly put on pause, leaving a void in the game.
They are already now attacking Sophie Cunningham. Oh, they're mad. The MAGA Barbies got them angry. They're cheering on violence against this basketball player. Sophie Cunningham just got through by a rookie. And here we go.
Shot too strong there from Olsen. Cunningham pulls down. Here's that feistiness. There you go. She is fierce in the game. And I know it wasn't announced that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play until right before. But this is a preseason game where Clark is not available.
She's a real competitor, not a faker or someone seeking an Oscar. She went down hard, with no dramatics, no exaggerated falls, just a brutal tumble. Suddenly, the storm that was Sophie Cunningham was benched. The chaos momentarily silenced. No more borderline fouls or ESPN mic'd up moments where she's casually threatening to eat someone's soul. The court fell silent, and the league seemed noticeably calmer, almost too peaceful. It was as if the villain had left the movie early, leaving us to watch the slow development of the game without her fiery presence. The loss of Sophie left a noticeable void, quieting the chaos she once brought.
Hey, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Indiana Fever. No Caitlin.
With Caitlin Clark's recent surge in media attention transforming their profile from Who to Hey, they're on ESPN3 now. Indiana fans have developed a craving for the spotlight, and once they caught a whiff of drama, they inhaled it eagerly. Enter Brittney Sykes, a defensive virtuoso known for moving like a cheat code and guarding opponents as if she's trying to crack their ATM pin. Her defense is so relentless, it should come with a warning label. She's quick, fierce, and takes no prisoners, whether it's a possession, a game, or a player, especially a returning Sophie Cunningham. During a contested play, Sophie hits the floor again. No scuffle, no brawl, just basketball. Contact, the essence of the sport. But in Indiana, logic seems to have taken a vacation. What ensued was a complete public meltdown. Fans reacted as if Brittney Sykes had stolen a puppy, canceled Christmas, and poured ranch dressing all over a deep dish pizza. Calls for suspension flooded social media. She targeted Sophie. "This is a crime. Arrest her and make her sit on the bench." It was a theatrical overreaction, all fueled by the home crowd's desire for drama. The scene showcased how quickly a game can turn into chaos when emotions run high, especially in a place where passion often outweighs perspective.
And that's Kiki Arafin, and I got to tell you, here we go with the smiling like you've done. I don't get it. This is the worst part of the WNBA. It is.
We went from defensive play to federal offense faster than you can say overreaction. Let's break this down. Brittney Sykes was simply doing her job. Sophie Cunningham got knocked down. It was physical, sure. Was it dirty? Only if you've never watched a game before. Was it malicious? Only in the minds of Indiana fans who seem to believe every WNBA game is secretly a setup against their favorite player. Now it's downright hilarious. Indiana has spent months demanding that women's basketball be taken seriously, pushing for the league to be treated like the NBA. But the second someone plays with intensity and grit, suddenly it's a crime against humanity. This is the same fan base that was shouting, "Let them play," all season long until someone played too hard. Imagine being that soft. Fever fans expected Sophie to drop 30 points, hit a buzzer beater, and throw up a peace sign to the crowd. But instead, she was body-checked by a defender who wasn't about to give up an easy bucket just because Twitter wanted a feel-good story. Brittney Sykes isn't a villain. She's just not playing by Indiana's scripted expectations. Sometimes real basketball means playing tough no matter the reaction.
Now, looking from that angle, I don't know, man. It looked like she grabbed her, slung her down. Then it looked like for 1 minute Sophie had her arm just a tad bit, so maybe she was trying to sling her off. But from this angle right here, it looked like...
And let's be real. If this exact same play had happened in reverse, if Sophie had elbowed Sykes while contesting a layup, Fever fans would have printed Sophie's face on a candle and dubbed it the Holy Block. ESPN would have aired 19 slow-motion replays, dissecting every angle. Twitter? It would have celebrated the play the way they do a moon landing. But because it happened to Sophie, Indiana's self-declared Lady Liberty of the court, suddenly it's a national crisis. When Brittney Sykes dared to contest her shot as if launching a weather balloon into orbit, people reacted like they'd just witnessed the fall of Rome. Sykes didn't even foul her, she simply shouted, "Freedom!" and sent that shot into space. Yet, since Sophie has become the sacred figure of Fever Nation, everyone's outrage has been whipped into a melodramatic frenzy. Pearls are being clutched, questions about her well-being are flying, and everyone's acting like she's fragile glassware. But let's be honest, she's not made of papier-mâché or prayers. Sophie's built like a linebacker who once took ballet class. She'll ice her shoulder, hit the gym, and probably start a beef with a ref before the next game. Let's not pretend she's some delicate flower. This is the same woman who's been dishing out elbows and tough plays since 2018. She's perfectly fine. The real hit was to her pride, and even that will be back in shape by game day.
Spicy Sophie Cunningham, you could call her, because she was out there, she was spicy, she was fiery, and all that. But one of her team...
You'd think she drop-kicked Sophie midair, insulted Indiana's entire corn supply, and ran off with Caitlin Clark's Gatorade. The drama was so intense, it could have had its own HBO series. And we're far from done. fans started acting like Sykes was the final boss in a video game, complete with fire powers and a criminal record. Meanwhile, Brittney's probably just icing her knees and wondering how guarding someone turned into a federal offense. Now we've got post-game think pieces, TikToks, and slow moment edits set to emotional songs like Adele's. This is what they did to Sophie. They cry, acting like she's a saint. Let's not forget, Sophie probably doesn't even want all this chaos. She's a fierce competitor, a heat-seeking missile with a ponytail. She's not out here begging for suspensions. She's probably more annoyed she didn't get the foul call herself. The whole situation has spiraled so far out of hand, it's clear the drama is overshadowing what should be a competitive, hard-fought game.
Brittney Sykes flinging Sophie once again. Now, I don't know if this was personal. I don't know if this was a, hey, don't talk to my rookie moment. I don't know, man. But
She didn't come back from injury just to be coddled like some celebrity on a spa day. Sophie returned with all the villain energy, ready to stir the pot, flip the script, hit a few clutch threes, and maybe, on purpose or not, hip check someone into the photographer's pit. But now, Indiana fans are acting like she's made of glass and fragile dreams. Suddenly, they want to swaddle her like a newborn, hand her a stress ball, and keep anyone from looking at her too harshly. Bubble wrap? Please. She'd pop it just for fun. This woman isn't some porcelain figurine from the china cabinet. She's a Fulham-actor thrill ride in high tops. Sophie didn't build her reputation by playing nice. She built it by talking trash, diving headfirst into chaos, and making defenders second-guess their choices. She thrives on tension, eats drama for breakfast, and if you think she wants to be protected, you clearly haven't seen her throw elbows with a grin since 2019. She's all about the game, the hustle, and making her presence felt.
Here we go. Need Kiki to whack her again. Guys, it's where we're at. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right there, you can see Sophie telling her after that flagrant, you don't mother effing do that. You don't mother effing do that.
Brittney Sykes didn't just play defense. She tried to recreate a WWE SmackDown finale right in the middle of a basketball game. And of course, whenever anyone dared to raise an eyebrow, her defenders rushed to the rescue, shouting, "Think of the children!" Like Sykes wasn't out there body-checking someone mid-air, but instead gently guiding a toddler across a crosswalk. Let's be real. This isn't just part of the game. It was a calculated hit, wrapped in athletic tape and disguised as hustle. If Sykes really wanted to show her intensity, she could have started by not launching herself like a missile at someone's ribs. That's not defense. That's demolition derby. Now people are acting like she should get a medal for playing hard? This wasn't just aggressive play, it was crossing the line into reckless.
A huge target on our backs. Obviously, the Fever, the most hyped team, the most talked about team, and now a team that has some protection within, right? Some support within, some toughness within, which bodes well for once Caitlin Clark is back on the floor, because you're now surrounding her with the talent. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston were there before, but the toughness as
The WNBA isn't a church camp and no one's asking for hymnals, but we're not about to pretend that assault with a basketball is a legitimate part of the game. You don't get to throw elbows and body check opponents like you're auditioning for a linebacker spot, and then act surprised when people demand accountability. One minute, she's charging into opponents like it's a dodgeball death match. The next, she's crying foul and playing the victim. Spare us the theatrics. If you can dish out that level of aggression, you should be prepared to handle the consequences, including criticism and suspension. And don't even try to justify this with the "that's just how the game is played" line. There's tough, aggressive play, and then there's what Brittney did, which was dangerously reckless and borderline dangerous. If the league continues to shrug this off, don't be surprised when the next defensive effort results in someone needing urgent medical care. Honestly, if the WNBA wants to keep allowing players like Sykes to throw elbows and body check like it's amateur hour at a boxing gym, they should start handing out liability waivers at the entrance. Because at this rate, we're one defensive stop away from a player ending up on a stretcher as part of the game. And Brittney, if you want to play full connector rugby, there's a league for that, and it's definitely not this one.
So Sophie Cunningham has been injured. She has been injured the last couple of days, and obviously she rolled her ankle in the preseason game, and it does not look too bad.
Let's wrap this up. Sophie Cunningham remains that girl. Fiery, fearless, and maybe one foul away from a reality show called Courtside Carnage. Her comeback from injury was inspiring and perfectly on vantage for her. But as soon as she stepped back onto the court, she entered the jungle once more. In the jungle, no extra points are awarded for sentimentality. Brittney Sykes played her game, raw, unapologetic, aggressive, and legitimate. If you're upset about her style of play, perhaps the real issue isn't her defense, but your unrealistic expectations. And to Indiana Fever fans, take a deep breath, log off, touch some grass. You don't need to call Adam Silver or start a GoFundMe for justice for Sophie. She's not in danger, nor is she being hunted. She was fouled. Something she'll likely do to someone else before next week. But go ahead, keep the drama alive. Because if anything, this proves one thing. Women's basketball is truly here to stay. Only a passionate, dedicated fan base could be this delusional over a simple, hard-nosed defensive play. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.